Hey, hi Abhinav, welcome. Welcome.
Hi, and how are you?
I'm I have a bad throat today, so I'm not 100% okay, but let's see how much I can cope with the throat. So let me introduce. Thank you for joining, by the way. So let me introduce myself quickly. So I am from Mumbai originally, but currently I'm in the UK. So my wife and me we live in the UK right now. We are child free by choice. I have been in this lifestyle, or rather this thought with this thought process for 22 years. So I started thinking about this when I was 20. I'm now 42, almost 43. So I've been thinking about this for a long time, and recently I was like, I think I should talk about this because the population is really getting out of control. So and especially with India and Indians, I think more Indians need to come and talk about this. So thank you for joining. So if you can please introduce yourself.
Sure. So, my name is Abhinav. I am currently in Beer, Himachal Pradesh. It's kind of an early retirement, I would say. I've worked almost 10 years in corporate. Now I'm figuring it out. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm a philosopher, psychologist, uh, volunteer, traveler, all of that. And trying to be a singer, learning a lot of arts on the way. So I planned 2024 as a year where I would, travel and just learn as much as I can. Thank you for having me.
Lovely, welcome. So how old are you, by the way, now?
I'm 31 right now. I'll be 32 in June.
32. Oh, June. What June? What? I'm also June. So my birthday is in June.
I'm 5th of June,
Oh,
Environment Day.
okay. Mine is 17th of June.
We both
Okay.
Gemini, so we would connect more.
Yeah, lovely. I would love to meet you one day. I'll come there very much. So the thing is, so you said you are 31. Is that right? 31.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. When did you start with this thought process? So when did you feel like, oh, I really want to be child free by choice? Like I said, I did it when I was 20. I knew that I wanted to be child free right at the age of 20. So when did this thought come to you?
It was, I think, second year of my college. The year was 2020 or something. Not 2020. It was 20. I was around 20. So
You were around, so
I would
same
say I
age,
was
just
around
like me.
18,
Just like me.
between 19 20. So we used to debate about it, about marriage as an institute, about reproduction as a process in the college. When we, one of the torchbearers of this movement in India, of course, is Acharya Prashant. I'm sure you must have seen
Oh
his
yes, of
videos.
course. Yes,
He
of
used
course.
to come to our college. He used to come to our college to conduct holistic development, individual development programs, which
Oh.
was fun. And it makes us question a lot about the existence, about our identity, about a lot of things that we have taken for granted or have believed or assumed for granted. So I think that was the time when I got really into philosophy. And I've read Schopenhauer, German philosopher, who has talked about this way back. But antinatalism as a term, I came across this as a term last year. uh, I heard that David Benatar, the philosopher, South African philosopher, has written
Yeah.
a book about it, and I got a chance to read it as well. And I was very impressed by how logically it was put. The asymmetry argument
Hmm.
that I am sure I must be aware of, that the inexistence uh, is not as bad symmetrically as existence. Whether your existence has all the goods or bads, irrespective of that, inexistence weighs more, has more, going for it than existence. So that was very well logically put by a philosopher, and that made a lot of sense. And then this philosophy really clicked with me, as in with the term. I just associated this philosophy with the term now. So yeah.
Okay. So what I understand is that you got into this, the whole thought process happened because first starting point was Acharya Prashant, and second then is with all the books that you read. So that's how you got into it, right?
Yeah, so I was a lot into philosophy till 23 or 24. And I got into corporate and I just dropped philosophy because I was, in the rat race and I could not be,
Makes
that
sense.
self-aware, or
Makes sense.
I should not be that self-aware that I should quit it because I was in the spree of making money and I
Correct.
wanted to do it because I wanted this life which I'm living right now. And I got back into it like couple of years back, 1 or 2 years back, and then I was like, it was all refreshed and it was all, I just started joining Facebook communities. I got to know that there are a lot of people who think like alike, people who have done great, noticeable work. However, we still need to do a lot. We as Indians, as you mentioned, still need to
we
do a
need
lot.
we need this the most. We need it the most. So that's the
Yeah,
reason. So that's the
we
reason I
Africans, I
am.
would believe Africans, India, specifically subcontinent and Africa, if these two,
Fastest growing.
communities come
Fastest growing.
together and make it out, yeah, these are the fastest growing, and they are projected to be like shooting in like numbers
I
by
know. I know.
2050. So that's
It's pretty
that.
serious.
And
It's
2050 is
serious.
the year when probably the apocalypse might happen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
serious. As in the word to use is serious. The situation is serious. It's no longer.
critical. Yes.
It's no longer. And I always say this. It's no longer a future tense. So problems will happen. If we continue like this, problems will happen. I don't think it is that anymore. It has. We have reached that point. As in, rather, we have reached that point few years ago. I would say
And past. Yeah.
past it. We've already passed that point. So it's no longer, oh, we will have issues in the future. But anyways, we will continue. We'll talk about these things a little bit more. So before we get into depth, some basic questions, very very shallow questions. First is how because you are still in India. I'm out for a long time, so it's a little different for me. How does your family react or respond or whatever? Do they have any emotions or no emotions? Comments or no comments?
I think they are still in conventional thought process. They still have that conventional way of thinking, and that basically says that you at least need to have a child, one child probably, but
Correct.
one child of your own is something that they would promote and they would advocate for. So yeah, that is something that I think North India is still. That is the kind of thinking that still pervades in most of North India, and things they are different in different states. But as you asked about the family, yes, they still have that. They have evolved from the time that they used to be adults to the time when we are adults. But then there's still something that we are still like few meters apart in terms of thinking, in terms of how we operate in the world.
So for me, I was lucky
And that's
because
probably one of the reasons I don't prefer staying in at home, or I
that is
prefer
good.
staying
So
in
that's
nature.
that's exactly what I was going to say just now about myself. Is that I was just lucky because I have been out of my family home for since 2005. So that's been a long time now. So that's why you automatically get space, you automatically get freedom, right? So I'm lucky, and that's the reason I asked this question for people who are in closer proximity to their direct family. How does it work out? It must be difficult, but you are also a little away, so you're a little better. Yeah.
I've spent my jail time, so I'm free now.
Good, very good. So, do you face any like if you talk about this with someone, or if somebody finds out about this, do you face any stereotypes? Do you have you experienced any stereotypes about being child free by choice?
Uh, I generally do not talk about it as much
Okay.
first, but if I do, I prefer talking to people who have some sense, have some sanity around themselves.
Okay.
So they see it differently, but they would not prejudice against me. So stereotypical is okay when it is still thinking. When it comes to action, that is the problem. That is biased action. They would. So I talk to people who would not change their attitude or behavior towards me if they get to know that I am anti-natalist or a child-free person. So
See,
that includes some of my friends, family. But then we talk in a very calm, peaceful environment, and so that
yeah,
there is no conflict, argument kind of a situation.
that is exactly what I was going to ask you just now, is whether there are any conflicts. There are no conflicts as such. So it's okay. So it's good. It's decent.
Yeah, I think it comes with time. I mean, people have to respect whether it comes to whatever choices that you make in your life. Everyone has to just accept that at some point of time, or they just are not no longer in your life. So that is how you function.
Yeah, why I'm asking this is because I'm speaking with multiple people from different countries and backgrounds and locations, right? So there is a difference, right? So if you are an American, there is it's clearly different from, even in the UK. It would be in the UK, like for example, where I am right now, it's very rigid. Actually, it's rigid. You would feel like, oh, it's because it's the West. It's very easy, but it's not. American culture is really more fluid. Even so, I spoke with somebody from Spain, as in she's American, but she lives in Spain. And she's like, in Spain, it's almost impossible to even think to be like this. As in the number of the percentage of people even trying to get out of the normal standard life is very low. So that's the reason I asked you, because culturally, location, your geographic location, does impact your experiences.
It does actually. I mean, most of the people have come from the same background, and they would still procreate, irrespective of our views. And that is not my job to control their, sex life or their love making scene. My job is to make sure that I am not a hypocrite as a person. So I have certain beliefs, I have certain values, I live by them, and that's what I can do. In the process, I try my best not to have conflicts, arguments, go away, or be, from the next time onwards, I would know that this person is not worthy to discuss this topic with.
Yeah, makes it so it's just experience. Okay, so you're 31 years old, and are you looking for a partner? And if you are looking for a partner, does do you talk about this clearly, or does it affect your search, or it does not?
It does actually. I am not anymore. As in, I am very open currently. I mean, I have no fixed thoughts about it, either whether I should be married, I should not be married. I would prefer not to be married. Marriage is an institution. I don't believe in it, honestly. But then I'm not as well 100% in disapproval of that improvement. Institution. I'm saying marriage. So yeah, it does affect when I was looking, but since I'm not looking for anymore, I see it does affect a bit when you are dating, right?
Okay, so when you tell someone,
even on
when you
the
tell
dating
the
app.
person,
Yes.
they completely
No, there are filters, right?
withdraw.
You would see on a dating app, if you come across 10 profiles, 80% of them wants kid or wants to have children.
Okay,
80% of the females,
80% is a low
obviously.
number. 80% is a low number. I would say I thought it would be 90%.
I am still being safe because I don't know. I am not quoting the actual figure, so I'm being safe
Okay.
here. 80% is the safe figure. I am sure it is higher, but
I
yeah,
am sure it is.
still it depends on the place where you are at. So, for example, places where in cities it would be a slightly towards people not in the in the mood to have kids because they don't have time. In places where they travel, depends on whether they have come across this idea logically or not, as antinatalism as an idea. So if they have, I think it's a very strong argument to deny any day. So still it fluctuates, I would say. It fluctuates depending upon where you are.
Okay.
It does
Okay,
affect, by the way.
Okay, it does. Okay. About
I think
I
I
know
have
you.
just to it's a segue,
Yeah.
a bit of segue. So I remember sharing a meme on this topic. There was
Uh,
this meme with a child standing in front of an empty pool,
uh,
right? And the meme said, "This is the dating pool of anti-natalist vegan."
wow, it's empty. It
Empty.
it's difficult. It is difficult. Okay,
Yeah, that
I was
was
just
the
lucky.
exaggeration.
I was lucky. I was lucky. So yeah, I understand because I'll tell you why. About marriage, right? I've noticed one thing because when I speak with people who are child free by choice or anti-natalist also, I've noticed that there is a very common trend where people hesitate a little bit about marriage, but then it's pure luck, right? If you are lucky, you can still find the right person. It's possible, but it's luck. It's pure luck. It's nothing else. And it's not. And actually, if you think about it, right, Abhinav, I give it a lot of thought. Actually, if you think about it, it is not only about this one particular topic or choice where luck plays a big role. I mean, let's say for example, some people have some dietary preferences, or some people say have some kind of work preferences and all those things, or religious preferences and stuff. Even then, it is about luck only. To find the right person is about luck. So it's nothing more than that. So it's not particularly difficult only because of this, but sometimes it gets difficult even because of other specific choices that people have, which is religion or career or whatever. It happens.
In India, if you talk in the context of India, marriages generally happen arranged. Marriages are arranged. Like most of the marriages are arranged.
Yes.
People either don't marry their boyfriends or girlfriends, or they basically are forced to or compelled by the family to marry the person that the family choose for them,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
uh, so yeah, antinatalism, if you talk about antinatalism, no family would approve of
We'll
it.
accept it.
As in,
Nobody will
my
accept it.
family does not approve of it. The family of the girl would also not approve of it. That's
Mm.
plain and simple. And this is not coming from like a dream. I have experienced it particularly. When I was looking out for a partner on a matrimonial site, I had a chance to speak to one of the girl, and in the first call I mentioned that this
Mm.
is what I think about
Mm.
having kids. And to my surprise, the father of the girl spoke to my father, and they discussed about it, and they said this is not normal, or this, at least you should have one child of their own. That's what they kind of discussed probably, and my father told that to me then, and I was like, yeah, that I should have not spoken about it in the first call. But
So
anyway, that's
the only way
yes,
out is to do not do it the traditional way. So as in an arranged marriage
yeah,
path will never work for this. Impossible. As in it's impossible.
yes.
An arranged marriage. Yeah. Okay. I wish you luck. Let's see what happens. Let time decide. Okay. So from a work point of view, how has being antinatalist or and child free by choice helped you or created issues? So positive or negative from work point of view?
Uh, honestly, being single and child free gives you a lot of time to work and do a lot of things that you want to do. So obviously, it's a blessing not to have things, priorities mixed up. Have straightforward priorities towards work or whatever you want to do in life. Uh, you know, family generally comes with bondages, not just kids but also the partner. And in India, the family is generally extended. When you get married, everyone is basically invited and everyone has a say in your choice, in your life, right? Your life becomes something that is public
Public.
for at least some time, right? So that is how it is in India. And I really enjoyed my time being single, being child free, working, doing whatever I wanted to do, and specifically having no not. I love to travel, by the way. I mean, I've been traveling for years, since I could, right? So I know traveling would be difficult the way I want to. I am a backpacker. I travel solo. uh, the way I want to, the traveling would not be the same that I would want it to be after I get married. So I think it has helped. It has definitely helped me who I am or what I've done. So yeah, no
So,
regrets.
so basically, good. So it's similar to what I have experienced. It makes life easy. So basically, what you're saying is it makes life easier simply because you don't have any anchors. So there are no anchors. Hence, you are freer
Of
to
course, true.
take breaks. Like for example, you are on a break right now. I have been on 2 breaks earlier, and this is all. I'm on a break right now as well. So I'm not working for 3 years as in a corporation. I'm working in another way, which is just the fun way of working and fun way of making money. So that's the advantage. Okay.
I would discuss that with you. What is the what's your way? What's your fun way of making money? I think that is also one of the videos that we should have. Right, people who do not want to work in corporates, they should know what are the alternative sources.
Oh, that's actually a good idea. So this is a fantastic idea. I can talk about this a lot. It can be a specific dedicated video because I have experienced these things. Like, what is life? As in, what is life means? As in, I'm not talking about philosophical aspect of it. What is work life? Do you
Life.
really have to work? Right? What is work? First of all, what is work? What are the types of work? And it's a big topic. We can talk about it. Since you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it separately. We'll dedicate one single discussion for it. So
Let's have a video on that.
Yeah. Okay, so now what I wanted to ask you is not about work personally, as in let's not work and not family, just Abhinav himself. How does Abhinav feel that there are challenges in his life because he has chosen to be child free? Because he's child free by choice. So is there any challenges? So no work and no family, okay? So just like you for yourself.
Sometimes I wonder what life would be if I was not an antinatalist or I was not this woke as I would say it. I know it's a wrong word to put it, but let's say it's a funny way to put it. If I was not any more educated than average person on this planet, I think I would have been sleeping. I would have been dream walking my life. It would have been there would have been challenges, but then there are conventional way of dealing with those challenges, which I would fall for. I would have fallen for the same hierarchy, the same way of life, as in work, reproduce, raise the kids, send them to school, and all of that track. So yeah, I mean, life would have been different, but this is a better life. That's what I feel. And
okay, so I think
this is a life that
I'll ask the question again. So what are the challenges that you feel that you have right now because you're child free by choice?
I think the dating pool is, of course, one of those challenges. Okay. That is one of the big challenges of because psychologically the age that we are in, so there are psychological development in different ages. I come from that background, that's why probably I'm using those words. So this age is where you need to have a partner to validate you or anything. There's a strong sense of companionship, the phase that I am. So of course that is one of the biggest challenges that I see currently, that the dating pool is drastically reduced. So I think I mentioned about the dating pool. That was one of the challenge. I think the second challenge that I can think of is there's a financial burden. The economy is really what it is right now, and it is hard to survive on single income. And having a partner is also a very practical way of splitting the bills, sharing the life experiences as it comes. So that's one challenge. I mean, there's no long-term partner, so there's the economical burden stays on the individual rather than getting split into two.
But if it is just one person, then it's just one person earning and one person spending, isn't it?
Yeah, but then if the other person is as, I mean, it's double the income and the expenditure is not as much. So there's more saving, and then, I mean, that's my way of thinking. I mean, you can save more if you are
Okay.
sharing.
Okay. So then the opposite side of the same question would be, what are the benefits of being child free by choice?
Freedom all the time that you have,
Okay.
um, liberty, freedom, peace. There's a
Okay.
lot of peace in this life. Yeah, and that really answers all of those questions. This,
Okay.
if a person has peace and freedom, I think I as a person would risk it all for these two.
Makes sense. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about, Abhinav, is that I like to ask, explain this question. Okay, so the question is that um, now I'm 42, 43. When I started thinking about being child free, the reasons were different. They were very practical, shallow reasons, and now it has become more philosophical. So, like, simple. Earlier, it was because I was living in Mumbai and I saw a lot of people around. I was like, I can't do this because there are so many people already around. Population is already too high. I can't do it. And now it is not about that. Now it is about more about philosophy. It's about the pain and the suffering aspect of it. So for you, has the reason changed over a period of years, or were you always into the philosophical side or only on the practical side?
Of course, I was not into philosophical side first, but I was questioning it nonetheless. I
Hmm.
was. The first thing that I saw, obviously, growing up was there's a lot of. When I was a child, we had a lot of greenery around. We had
Hmm.
a lot of space around to play.
Hmm.
Technology hasn't taken over yet. A
Hmm.
lot of things were good back in the
Hmm.
days, right?
Hmm.
But then, as I grew up, I saw the world changing. I saw,
Hmm.
a lot of gray skies,
Hmm.
and that somehow made me question the overpopulation aspect of
Hmm.
the world,
Hmm.
right? And yeah, that was the first thing that you see outside.
Hmm.
Philosophy is something that you see inside, and
Correct.
that is the difference. Uh, I think our eyes open outside first, so I think overpopulation is the entry point. One
Hmm.
has to see the degradation that is happening due to overpopulation, or the reasons why we are living in the world that we are living in right now. And then once you start questioning them, once you start internalizing them, then you get to know that enough of it. I think we should stop having kids. We should at least take a break till let the earth recover. Let's say like COVID, right? Instead, COVID should have been a break from procreation rather than people used it for procreation. So that's
Yeah,
a
I
different
know, I
story.
know, I know.
So I
Yeah.
think there has to be at least some break for Earth to recover. I know human population, in even in the current context, even in the current numbers, is too much, and recovery would take a lot of years, and it's very hard for someone to convince a young person to convince not to procreate for some years. It's very difficult, right?
But Abhinav, so the objective of this project that I'm doing, as in all these videos that I'm doing, is not to convince anyone. So I am not interested in convincing someone to not procreate, but I want them to just know the second side of life, as in there is an alternate, like what Abhinav is going through right now, which is freedom and peace and quiet and all those things, right? What I'm going through is the same thing, right? Like no dependence, no stress, freedom, time, a lot of time for yourself, and there's no pressure. You're not like, oh, I have to do this, otherwise the child cannot go to school or all those things, right? So that is the objective. The objective is, then if people, if it makes sense, then do it, right? It should make sense to Abhinav. Is doing it because Abhinav knows that it makes sense to himself. So that's the whole idea about doing this. Yeah.
No, I mean, yes, I also believe that it's very, wrong for us to change the world without
Correct.
changing
To try,
ourselves.
even to try, yeah, is wrong.
Yeah, I think the change happens within, and once that happens, you stop caring as much.
Yeah. Correct.
I mean, to change others, right?
Correct.
You are changed.
Correct. So I wanted to ask you a follow-up for this one would be since you are already into this thought process, right? You are there, I'm already into this. Now, let's say somebody who's watching this video, a young boy or a young girl who's, let's say, just in their 20s, just 20s, let's say. And that person has not yet decided to be child free or not yet decided to take that step saying, oh, I want to be child free. What would be your advice if he or she is just thinking about it but not sure?
I would suggest them to read a lot.
Mm.
A little bit is also fine, but at least read something. Know the world that you are living in, know the situations that you are in, and what can happen. So, I would urge, first of all, I think I would urge you guys, if I feel like I'm talking to you directly, I would urge you guys to be the change makers, because we could not be, or we are trying to be, and you are the ones who would lead us to future. So please study about it, give it a little thought, give it a little reading, and figure it out for yourself. I mean, do whatever you feel is right, or at least be educated, be considerate about facts before making any big decision that can really change your life.
Thank you. So another thing which is very common in Indian culture, very strong this one is family name and lineage and all those things. How do you feel about that?
I also have a joke around it. I mean, I most of my values, philosophy can be translated into memes, right? So one of the jokes is this: bloodline ends with me. So
Huh.
yeah, I have a brother who has a child, uh,
Yeah.
girl child, but I don't personally care about lineage. My
Mm.
parents sometimes do, but
Mm.
I tell them that we are not the kings, we are not the Ambanis of the world. So we should not be like passing on. There's nothing to pass on. First of all, there is earth which is messed up already, and there's nothing to literally pass on, which is good. So what's the point of passing on? What are we passing on? Just the good genes? I know their genes are good, that is taken, but still, is that the only thing that we want to pass on? And along with that, suffering and all of that comes along with it.
Okay. So what about the second part of the story, which is like because there's a very valid argument that somebody will make that, but then it's very natural, like trees, insects, birds, animals, everybody has sex because sex is necessary for procreation. So everybody is doing that. So why is Abhinav going against that?
I think that's the argument that I heard for the first time when I was in 8th standard. Uh, there was a science there was a science chapter on reproduction, and one of I could feel that my teacher was not very much a strong believer into procreation, right? She was single, my teacher, science teacher, and I could feel it in her voice, in her attitude towards reproduction, procreation as negative, right? And she gave me that argument that why she asked that question in the class: why do you think humans reproduce, or why do you think anyone should reproduce? And obviously the answer is to make sure that we don't go extinct like dinosaurs or like any other creature, right? So to continue the race, right? But then in the same class we discussed that we as a human would not go extinct. We have uh, developed so much, like we have left so much, we have done so much, that the extinction would never happen unless we force it, right? And something that we are doing is kind of
Or there is a complete
pushing it.
natural disaster.
Yeah, I mean, still we have so much technology that we can save ourselves
Mm.
digitally, whether living in bunkers for months or years to come. There's so much
Correct.
that we can do to save at least 100,000 people to start the uh, human race again, right? Diverse, coming from all the diverse backgrounds, right? That much is already there. But then there is this greed, I think. that is, there's a greed aspect to it. It's not, there's an ego aspect to it, there's an I lineage, the family, the social aspect to it, that kind of pushes people to do this rather than, the natural call. For example, I'll give you a very biological point of view.
Mm.
uh, all these examples that you use, trees, insects, dogs, animals, they reproduce, but their reproduction, their procreation is limited by nature, right? They have seasons, they have their fertility time, and humans also have that, right? Humans have the time to cope up after one uh, you know uh, child, right? All of that. But humans have somehow gained an advantage over nature, so they can bend nature as per their laws, right? That's why it's not a fair comparison to compare us with any other animal or tree. They would reproduce, but they would be limited by nature. We would reproduce and we would be safe sitting in our homes, at least for some time, that whatever time of assurance that we can give to ourselves. Once everything ends, we have to end, but then we are thinking of surviving by killing others, right? That is our way of survival, and that's what we have learned from nature as well. I'm not blaming humans for being the fittest or being the smartest or killing the, or I know it's bad way of using one's intelligence and smartness as a creature, but then it's something that comes naturally as well. I It's nothing against that, right? Being the fittest, being the most fittest to survive. Hence the comparison is not fair in my eyes.
Okay, okay. Okay, so another thing which is also very common is a lot of people usually say this, that I want to have children because I want to have a sense of purpose, right? Like I want to see them grow, and I want to see them become successful in life and all those things. So now, when you are child free by choice, how do you have any sense of purpose in your life?
I think I would start with your first question. What is sense of purpose when you have a normal human life going up? You are not introduced to any of these philosophical ideas. So you live by a book. There is a time for you to get an education. There's a time for you to get a job. There's time for you to get married. There's a fixed time slots for everything. You become very mechanical. So it's a storybook mechanical life. Uh, so that is how it is when you are not uh, child free, or when you are not anti-natalist, or something that we are discussing here. But then if you become that, the life itself has a different purpose. Living becomes purpose, I think. uh, the time becomes whatever you wanted to do in your childhood becomes purpose. It can be short term, it can be long term, but then the very act of doing something freely, it becomes the purpose. And it's a very deep question, by the way. It's very simply asked, and it cannot be simply answered, by the way. Everyone can have their sense of purpose, but then once you decide to be child free, I think there's so much that you can choose for yourself as your purpose. You can give back to nature, you can give back to other humans, you can give back to animals. You can do a lot. I mean, there's no end to what good you can do, right? There's no end to that. There is also no end to what bad you can do, right? So the purpose should be to try to do as good as you can, as much as you can, in that spectrum, not the other side.
Okay. Okay, so another thing which is also very common, one of the most common reasons for people to get married and to have children, is that the biological fear that when I get old, I will not be able to take care of myself, and that's why I need to have children who should be, or who would or may take care of me when I'm older. So, what are your thoughts about that? Because
It's a very common argument in our groups, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Most of our parents, our in-laws, whoever is married, they are forcing someone to have kid because of this me an
Correct.
argument, right?
Correct.
My answer to that is I've seen life, right? I've seen my family not staying with their parents, right? And this is not just with my generation. This has happened over and over again. And the life that we are going towards, it is going to happen. Nuclear families is the way of life. It is what is happening in cities. It is the fact of India, right? On all over the world, I mean, families are becoming nuclear. India was one of the most, social countries, I would
Last,
say.
I would say, one of the
uh,
last to change.
yeah, but then the change has happened and is
Has
happening, and it is the fact now. So there is no guarantee that this kid that you're going to have, whether a boy or a girl, especially, there is a stereotype that boys are going to, lead the family into future, carry the name forward, etc., etc., and take care of the parents. That's the stereotype that Indian culture has. But I have seen people staying away, and this is not by personal choice. There is so much that goes into it: work, family pressure. There's so much that pulls you in different directions, and you just have to release some of it, right? And releasing the parents becomes easier than, releasing something like your job or your partner or something of that sort. So I think it's a very fair argument, but it is not practical. I mean, it is not factual. See for yourself. And I think the counter argument would be, just watch and tell me how many families that you see are nuclear and how many families that you see around are living with their parents, etc. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, what is it that in the last 30 minutes I have not asked you about this topic, but you want to talk about it? As in, you, whoever is watching
I
your
think I,
video,
I think I we haven't spoken a lot about antinatalism as a philosophy. I think
I
I'm not
usually
sure
don't talk
whether.
about. Okay, so I'll tell you what. So I usually don't talk about antinatalism too much because I believe, as in I believe this. My belief is that we are not even at step one. Antinatalism becomes step two. So we are at a
No,
stage
I'm
at
I'm not talking
least.
about the step two of antinatalism. I'm just talking about the pure basic philosophy.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Uh,
Let's listen to it.
yeah, I mean, we should talk about it
Go
because
ahead, talk about it.
I don't. I probably would. So personally, my belief is I probably can foster a kid, not my own, but I can, take care of a kid if the situation comes. I
Okay.
am good for it. I love kids. It's not Kids are not the problem. It's something else. Uh, but on the other hand, antinatalism as a philosophy is very basic philosophy that I mean, people who have not heard of it or have not read about it, I would just put it in many simple words. It just says that stop reproducing, just that, no more kids. That's the basic understanding
But
of
but
this.
if somebody who's listening to you will be like, why? Like, you have to explain to me why. I'm not convinced. I mean, it's not me. I'm obviously convinced. But somebody who's listening.
uh, Very simple answer is, uh, the earth is getting bad. The earth is in shambles. Don't put your kids at risk of uh, next corona or next world war and anything. Just save your kids. They're happy where they are. uh, just let them be. Don't put them in this cage of body or cage of this world, and let them make them torture. I know there's a strong love that you would feel for that kid, but that love can not cover their whole life. They would have to see separation. They would have to see you go. As in, if you are the parents, they would
But
probably, in most likelihood, they would see you go, and that it's also a pain for someone to miss or to see someone go, some of their loved one go. Don't put them through this pain. It is one of those pains. It is just one of those pains. Life, as you
but
know, is full of those
yeah,
pains.
but Abhinav, so I'm just being a devil's
Yeah,
advocate.
being the
What if
devil's
the
devil.
yeah? So what if somebody who's watching this video says like, but no, but I'm rich. I means my family is rich, like really rich. So I don't care. As in, I even if the there are planet issues, I can solve those issues by money. I can buy my way out of it. So then, how do you? What is the answer for that?
uh, you can do it as long as there is a planet, as long as it is habitable, as long as money functions. Economy may crash any day. You don't know. We have seen economic crisis in the past. You never know what happens in future is so uncertain to predict. We have seen so much in the past that good cannot be predicted in future. I mean, seeing the progression, right? You can't. It's a very mathematical way of looking forward. Just see how the thing is progressing, right? It is not progressing towards good, it is progressing towards bad.
Give us one or two examples.
I mean,
What are you? What
see
is
how
the
much,
because
how many
give
creatures
me a second.
or
So I'll
species
be
that.
the devil's advocate. Give me a second. So I'll say that somebody who's watching this video will say, what is Abhinav talking about? The number of cars that are being sold is increasing day by day. The number of five-star hotels which are available is increasing day by day. The number of people going on holidays is increasing day by day. So then, where is the problem? What problem are you talking?
What is the trade-off of these cars, these buildings, this economic progression that you're making it at a cost of something which is way bigger, and you still don't know it yet, right? People are still doing a lot of research on this, but facts are facts, right? You build a building by burying some trees or cutting some trees. You fuel your cars by petrol or diesel, which again emits fuels that heat up the planet by carbon dioxide and methane emission. Whatever you do, I'm sure you're doing great in your life, and I wish you do great in your life, but that's you can't live without this planet. That's so far the fact, right? There has to be a planet which is habitable for your money or anything to function, for your body to function, for your lungs to function, for your mind to function. uh, so even in your small surrounding, if you are probably making it the best you can, the bigger surrounding can change the small surrounding any day. It's just a matter of seconds. So the bigger picture here right now is we are not in a good situation. We are heading towards something which should not have happened. The earth, as you see, this year is the hottest year, and it's predicted to go even hotter, right? Especially I can feel it in Himachal, right? It's never this hot around this time of the year usually. But then, I mean, feel for yourself. I don't have to be detailing all those things that are happening. Just feel for yourself and be the best judge that you can be in your life. I think that your own sanity, your own intelligence can help you steer through this jungle, this life, whatever you want to call it, and use it. That's the weapon or the tool that you should use the most, not the
Okay.
other tools.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. So, one last thing that I wanted to ask you is, why are you actually coming in front of a camera and talking about this? Why do you feel that you want to talk about this and be on the internet and still talk about it, and people will watch you and all those things? So, what happened? Why are you talking about it?
I think some of it goes back to the fact that I always wanted to do something on YouTube. Uh, I tried acting. I tried I tried writing small 5-minute videos, all of that. Uh, for a long time, I was in a dormant phase where I was reading, studying, just working, doing whatever I could do to lay down the groundwork. And I'm thinking now is the time when I should come out and be whoever I am, feel open about it. I should not be ashamed of who I am. There's nothing, no one is judging me except myself. When I tell all of these things to myself, I don't see any fear, any hesitation to talk about it openly. And even right now I am sitting in kind of an open space. It's not closed. It's a cafe hostel where people can hear me, and I'm not afraid or ashamed or fearful of whoever is judging me or listening to me. So yeah, I think there's no fear. That is why. That is the
Okay,
answer.
lovely. So, can you please look into the camera and say this, because this is just how the internet functions. Can you please tell people to like, share, and subscribe,
Of course.
because this topic is important and people need to, a lot more people need to know about it.
I'm sure whoever is listening, whoever is watching, this is going to be a sneak peek into my life, what is happening currently. And I'm sure a lot of people don't know what is happening in my life currently. I just post a little stories here and there, but I think this is a more detailed version of how I look right now. And there's a lot of people who are there are a lot of people who are interested in knowing about me. So please feel free to watch this video, like it, share it, subscribe to Yen's channel. And I'm sure there's a lot more that we are planning, or I am planning, or we are together planning to do.
Yeah, we'll do
And
it
you will
definitely.
enjoy it, and it's going to be insightful, it's going to be thought provoking, and all of that, and funny since I'm in the video. Just saying.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time, Abhinav. It
Thank
was
you.
lovely talking to you.
Same.
So thanks for watching this video. We will be making more videos in future about child-free lifestyle. But I also wanted to say that if you see our channel, if you see the history of our channel, you will see a lot of videos where we've been child-free. Of course, we've been child-free since we met. But you can see the journey. You can see our journey. What happens when a couple is child-free is all documented nicely, not intentionally. As in, we were just recording our videos for our documentation. But now I realize that when I've started doing this series, I just realized that, hey, this is good because people can see how a child-free couple actually lives when they don't have children. Yeah, do you want to say something?
Yeah, perfect.
So keep watching and have fun. Bye bye.